What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Today is January 19th, and it is R-Truth's birthday. Yeah, that's right. It's R-Truth's birthday, and me and Shane are back at it again with another episode. And right here on R-Truth's birthday, we are booking our WrestleMania cards. That is what today's show is going to be about. I have 7. Shane has 7. We're going to kind of sort of fantasy book our WrestleMania cards, and we're going to see if we have any similarities, and we're going to see how ours differ from one another. Now, granted, next week we are going to predict and book and give you guys our Royal Rumble card, and depending on what actually happens at the Rumble, our WrestleMania cards may or may not change, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, WrestleMania 41 out of Philadelphia. And I'm excited, but I want you, sir, I want you to go first, and you let me know what your 7 matches are, who they include, if there's any stipulations, etc., etc., etc.
All right, so WrestleMania 40 Night 1, I have the World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. As of recording, no news has come out about Seth Rollins, whether he's actually injured or not. So as of right now, I still have that match as my main event for night 1. I remember last week you mentioned if Cody doesn't go against Roman, who does Cody go against? And it came to me when I was putting this card together. I have Cody versus Randy Orton, because I think that story kind of writes itself. I have a United States Championship match between Logan Paul and LA Knight. I have a Women Tag Team Championship kind of invitational. I really enjoyed those 2 Fatal 4-Way matches last year with the different tag teams, especially the men's. So I kind of threw them all together for the Women's Tag Team Championship. We have defending champions Kaitlyn Carter and Katana Chance versus Asuka and Kairi Sane of Damage Control versus Chelsea Green and hopefully a returning Carmella. I have Natalya and Tegan Nox thrown in there, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell thrown in there, and then, of course, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Not so much a battle royal, but more of a tag team kind of gauntlet invitational thing for the Women's Tag Team Championships. I have Rhea Ripley taking on Becky Lynch for the Women's Championship as well. A 6-man tag between Rey Mysterio, Carlito, and Andrade versus Santos Escobar, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo. And just because I couldn't figure out what else to do with them, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in a singles match for night 1.
Okay, what do you have for night 2?
For night 2, main event, I have the Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and The Rock. I still think that's where it's going to go as of right now. Singles feud, they could be a stipulation for this. I didn't pick one, but I could see them adding one to Jimmy versus Jey Uso. The Men's Tag Team Championships, again, another invitational. You have the Judgment Day with Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus DIY versus the returning AOP, Authors of Pain. I have the Street Profits thrown in there. I have Imperium, New Day, Awesome Truth, and A-Town Down Under also thrown into that gauntlet match. I have a Women's Championship match between Io and Bailey, Io, Sky, and Bailey. I have Gunther taking on Sheamus and Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, strictly because they couldn't figure out anything else to do with them. And a Fatal 4-Way, Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax versus Piper Niven. Big women slapping women meet. I don't know if that sounds appropriate or not, but that's what I went with.
I mean, what did you said, the Roman and The Rock?
Yep.
Wow, that's your night 1 and that's your night 2.
Yep.
Man, okay. That's definitely different than mine. Very, very, very different from mine. So, my opener, believe it or not, is a sleeper match. And the only reason why that is because it's a sleeper is because I want to get people involved. I want to give people time to get to their seats, etc., etc. First match out of the, and I know people might hate me for not starting WrestleMania hot, but hear me out, okay? We have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal with 20 superstars. My 20 are Bronson Reed, Bobby Lashley, Butch, Cameron Grimes, Carlito, Cedric Alexander, Cruz del Toro, Dexter, Humberto, I was about to say Indy Hartwell, and so on and so forth, right? But we have a whole bunch of jobbers in there. But the one name that's going to go into it and to win it, to give him even more heat and whatnot, is none other than Dominic Mysterio. After the Andre the Battle Royal, the number 2 match to get people in the seats, I have a tag team women's match. Yes, I have a tag team women's match with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter going against none other than Asuka and the Kabuki Warriors, I should call them. And then Asuka, and by that point, Katana and Kaden will be the champions if they're not already. And Asuka and Io, why do I want to say Io Sky? Kairi Sane, excuse me, will end up being the tag team women's tag team champions. That's how I'm starting that. After that, I have a WWE Tag Team Championship match with the Judgment Day's Damian Priest and Finn Balor going against the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers will win out throughout, whether it be clean, however you want it. I do not see the Judgment Day going past WrestleMania. I do not. I think that there's going to be some friction. I think that there's going to be something going on with the Judgment Day that causes Finn Balor and Damian Priest to not like one another, therefore losing the tag team championships. That's 3. My number 4 is going to be Gunther versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable going over. Andre, I'm losing count. Is that 4 or 5? I'm so distracted. Sorry.
Those 4.
That's 4. My number 5 on the record. Now, this is going to be kind of, I don't know how people are going to feel about this, but I'm going to pit her here as the pre-main event. I have Rhea Ripley defending her women's championship against Becky Lynch, who in my opinion is going to win the Royal Rumble. Now, if it's not Becky Lynch, it's going to be Bayley, but we'll check this out. We have Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. Okay. For the main event on night 1, I do also have CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. Night 2, I have a kind of a little bit of a rivalry match, but I have Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. I know that kind of came out of nowhere, but after what I saw previously, I have Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton.
That's an interesting one.
It is. I also have a tag team kind of invitational too. So, but it's going to be a little bit differently. I'm using the Street Profits with Bobby Lashley included, all 3 of them. They're going to face, well, not all 3 of them, sorry, with Bobby Lashley as the manager or however you want to say it, right? I have the Street Profits with Bobby Lashley at ringside, and if he wants to get involved, he can, but I don't think that he will. But I have Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins versus the Authors of Pain. Now, you can add in Karrion Kross and add in Bobby Lashley for a 6-man. That's fine. But that's what I have. I think that the rivalry by that point is going to be big. Since they're already starting it a little bit early, I think that they're going to have something on the end of that. And I am a sucker for, I can't think of his name right now, but the Authors of Pain's manager, Paul Ellering. I'm a sucker for Paul Ellering. After that, this is my night 2. So those are my first 2 matches right there. My third match is going to be, well, technically it's not a match, but it's the standard WrestleMania comedy spot, right? We have to always have one of those. And it's going to go toward Mr. R-Truth himself. And whether it be with something with the Judgment Day, whether it be with something with the Miz, I don't care. I will give R-Truth a 5 to 10 minute segment just for himself, just to do R-Truth things. After that, and yes, I legitimately wrote that down. I know I'm crazy, but after that, I surprisingly, because I think he's injured. So Rey Mysterio is no longer on my card. Initially, I wanted Rey Mysterio versus, Legado del Fantasma's leader. Can't think of his name. Why am I blinking? Santos, yeah. Initially, I wanted Santos versus Rey, but I don't know if Rey's going to be healthy enough by that point. So that's what I have a question mark next to Rey and Santos. If Rey's knees, because he just got knee surgery, if his knees are good to go by WrestleMania, then that's what I have as my number 4. But if not, I have Santos versus Carlito.
Okay.
And I think Carlito also turns here. I think the I think the LWO gets involved. Accidentally cost Carlito the match. Carlito, well, maybe not, because I did forget that Humberto and them did return. So Legado del Fantasma is there. So strike that. I'll keep just rather this is just Carlito versus Santos, or or Santos versus Rey. After that, surprisingly, you mentioned somebody, and let me preference this with, I tried to keep this as far as what the roster is today, right? So I didn't want to include a hypothetical Sasha Banks or a Naomi or anything like that. But for this next match, I have Io Sky versus Bayley for the championship. I think Damage Control is on their way out. I think that if it doesn't happen at Rumble, it happens at WrestleMania. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a singles match. I'm going to include 2 other women in there as well as a fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I have Io Sky, and I also have Bayley. I also have Miss Jade Cargill, and I also have not the returning Carmella, but the returning Alexa Bliss. And I think Alexa wins. Sorry, I think Bayley wins and sets up a program next up with Alexa. And then my main event for night 2 is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And the main reason why I say this, we kind of went into it last week. Roman is not wrestling at Elimination Chamber, which means Rock is not wrestling at Elimination Chamber. last time we saw Rock, he was gassed doing a spine buster and a people's elbow. Gassed to the freaking gills. My opinion, there is no way Rock is going to be in ring ready by WrestleMania, especially without a warm-up. And if he is, it's going to be bad. Because my personal opinion, Roman doesn't have that many long matches regardless. But still, if you can't do a spine buster and a people's elbow in 40 seconds, how do you expect for me to get behind you in 5 to 10 minutes? And that's somebody who that loves The Rock. But if you're gassed up by doing 2 moves, I'm not going to be entertained by watching you for 10 minutes. That would put me in the chair. It would put me in the feeling in the segment of like me watching the Brothers of Destruction versus DX in Saudi Arabia again. And that was terrible. And God forbid, I don't want anyone to get injured, but the ring rust is definitely a thing. So if you're gassed up after 10 minutes, after 2 moves, how are you going to feel after 10 minutes? And you're the #1 movie star in the entire world. I don't see it happening, especially now that the actor strike is up. The insurance policy on that elbow alone is over $100 million. Like I just don't see. I personally don't see it happening. So I see this happening though. I do see Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I do see the Bloodline getting involved in Sorry, I didn't even mention it. Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso is happening night 2. I forgot that one, but yes, that is 100% happening in my opinion. But during this match, Jey Uso will come out. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa will come out, interfere. Jey Uso will come out, fight his brother off. The Rock will come out, fight Solo Sikoa off. Therefore, meeting the odds and making it even odds across the board, and leaving Roman alone with Cody. And then finally, no pun intended to The Rock, finally, Cody Rhodes will finish his story. CM Punk will finish his story. And both of them will walk out of WrestleMania, both as head champions of the WWE. Now, I will say the night after WrestleMania, now granted, this might be controversial, but CM Punk went down to NXT and he's all about bringing people up from NXT and working with people from NXT. I think the night after WrestleMania, I truly think that CM Punk is going to be rather called out or be challenged by however they want to write it. I think that we're going to get a NXT call up the night after WrestleMania. I think we're going to have more than one, but my first one that I would call up, and he's been down there forever, and in my opinion, I don't think he has anything better to do. And that's just on me, is Mr. Braun Breaker. I think they immediately start him in a World Heavyweight Championship feud. He loses, and I'm not saying that he wins, but who better to work with than CM Punk? Or he can work with Seth Rollins to get to CM Punk. That's probably more likely than the other. But that is my show for WrestleMania. Now, granted, my cards, I'm letting y'all know right now, and I'll probably will tell you guys on the podcast later as well. I do not. My cards might change come the Rumble. I'll just say it now. And if they do, we're gonna fantasy book this. Well, I will let you guys know what my 2 nights are and how they've changed come the Rumble, because the Rumble will change anything and everything. We are going to book the Rumble and fantasy book the Rumble next week, and so you guys can do that. I will also be doing a live stream here on YouTube on the channel for the Rumble, so we're going to be doing a watch party as well, so please come on by, and all that stuff. We'll be watching the Rumble together. and I'll be commentating and watching it with all of you beautiful people, or all of you people, as a good old Austin Creed would say. There's a lot of people I left out of the card. I'm kind of putting them inside of that battle royale. For the Andre the Memorial Battle Royale. I do like Shane's idea about the tag team turmoil. I'll probably will include that on my next card, if, depending on what happens at the Rumble. So I definitely want to. I really want to see what happens at the Rumble. That's me. I really want to see what happens at the Rumble. As of right now, that is my card. I don't know if Shane has a plan to change yours or not. I really don't know. After of what you've seen at the Rumble, but that's my card. What do you think?
I liked it. I think what's fun about fantasy booking is there are so many possibilities, and with the roster as stacked as it is, we both left off so many names that it's crazy to think about leaving them off. But forget what happens at the Rumble. Like, what happens next week? You know, like anything can change.
And you mentioned Seth Rollins a little bit earlier. I didn't even hear about him being injured. So
yeah, it might be a torn MCL.
Is that a kayfabe injury? Is that a real injury?
No, real injury. They pulled him from all the live events. They pulled him from. I believe he had an MRI done this week. It doesn't look good, but all the sources that I've read and have listened to have said nothing. Like, they're not even talking about the injury, which makes me even more worried. Because if it was one of those like, oh, he just walked it off, he's okay, we would have heard about that. But we haven't heard any updates since Monday.
And that's kind of like my thing right there, is because like I said, I haven't heard anything or anyone talking about it. My theory about it is, like, if y'all are not talking about it or whatever the situation may be, is it a kayfabe injury? No one's talking about it. But like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's out here talking about it. Why are we not talking about this injury? Because, you know, we see Charlotte Flair. She's someone who just tore ACL and MCL in her legs, but we've had updates and immediately, you know, little updates on her and seen videos and stuff. If this injury is 100% real, I think we would hear more about it. I'm not saying that it's not, obviously, and if it truly is, then I truly hope that obviously I hope that you know, he gets healed up quickly and whatnot.
See, I don't know much about like MCLs, ACLs, meniscus tears. I'm definitely not a doctor or anything like that. But I wonder if it was pulled or torn, and he has the next 8 weeks or so off.
I can tell you right now, as someone who has had an ACL tear and an MCL tear, your minimum recovery time is like 6 to 9 months.
That's after surgery, right?
And that's after surgery.
Can he rest up enough to do a match at WrestleMania if it's torn?
If it's torn, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, unless he has the Triple H torn quad powers. But to do an entire match, I don't think there's a way, bud. And that's me loving, like, I love Seth, you know. I don't think it's no. Because you can't, with that torn, you can't really move.
Can't even walk, really.
You can't, yeah, you can't really move. You can't really do anything. You can't do much of anything. Because you can't put weight on it. You can't. There's a lot of stuff, like, you just can't. Unless, like, literally, unless you literally have ungodlike powers to have, like, that John Cena healing from trap injury thing, or the shoulder tear, excuse me. But it's just not. I've never heard of anyone recouping in a 6-week time from a torn. ACL, MCL. Now, if it's sprained or something like that, you can still work on it. You're gonna have to be very selective. I wouldn't do no buckle bombs and no pedigrees or anything like that. I really I wouldn't.
So cage side seats just within the last hour or so has posted that he tore his MCL, partially torn meniscus,
uh
after defending the title against Jinder Mahal in the main event of Monday Night Raw.
dang, so that's when he tore it.
Yeah, this was posted. Today's the 19th, right?
Yes, today's the
Yeah, this
19th.
was posted just about an hour ago.
Now, if like I said, if it's a sprain, it can like it's good for like 3 to 4 weeks, right? If it's a mild sprain, but if they're confirming that it's a tear, it can really take now. Granted, you can 12 weeks minimum. I'll give you 12 weeks minimum for it to heal. Like, but that's like best case scenario.
That doesn't sound good.
Because it really can take anywhere between a few days to like 8 weeks for MCL to heal all the way. So WrestleMania is what, 6 weeks? No,
I think it's about closer to 8, 9.
8-9 weeks. So
we got all of February, all of March. That's 8. We got one more week in January. 9 to 10.
So my thing is, if that's the case, right? If that's the case, 9 to 10, he could be good, right? He could be with that tear, but he would not be able to. He wouldn't be able to like Rumbles before Elimination Chamber, right? He would not be able to defend it at Elimination Chamber.
No, I think if he is injured, the best case scenario is to keep it off, like keep him.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. Is to keep him fresh, and if he has to be on TV, let him cut digital promos or virtual promos. Don't have him fly there for nothing.
Yeah, if you need him to heal in order to get to a WrestleMania payoff, let him heal.
Exactly.
Get him to a WrestleMania payoff. Punk and Rollins can build a program, and I'm assuming this is the direction they're going to go. Punk and Rollins can build a program for WrestleMania just by talking.
They can. They really can. They're both great on the
Punk
mic.
Can do it by tweeting.
Yeah, he definitely can do it by tweeting. Man, that's unfortunate. I was not even tracking that. I'm glad that I'm glad that it's not worse, because it definitely could have been. It definitely could have been a lot worse than what it was, and I'm very happy that it's not.
There's never a good time to get injured, but this one really sucks.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
This happened I'm gonna get the WrestleMania wrong. 34? Was it 34, 35 when he was
what?
champion and got hurt going?
Oh yeah. It's one of those. I don't know the exact one, but I'm aware of what you're talking about. I think that I definitely think that he just needs to take it easy, man. I definitely think that he needs to take it easy. I think that he needs to understand that this is a serious injury. I know he wants to be a fighting champion and all that jazz, right? But at the same time, if you want to be a fighting champion, you have to like know where your injuries are and stuff like that. You have to know like how to work on an injury. You have to know how to be able to fight on an injury and things of that nature. It's easier said than done, obviously, because you're the face of the company, and you're the fighting champion that you want to be. But it's just really, really, really difficult to be in a space like that, to where it's just like, bro, like this is my, this is my championship. This is what I was supposed to do and supposed to be, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I obviously wish nothing but the best for him. I wish that I wish him speedy recovery. I hope that he has the best recovery team. as far as doctors and whatnot. Hopefully he does. And you know, they always say WWE's medical staff is top tier. So let's hope for the best, and let's hope that WrestleMania plans don't get completely out of whack. Because if they do, and Seth Rollins, now I hate to say it, I don't want to speak it into theory, but I think we're all kind of thinking it. Is Vacant going to be the champion before WrestleMania? Are we going to have?
Just about to ask you, what do you do with the title?
Are we going to have? Are we going to have Vacant take it over? Are we going to have? Are we going to have Vacant take it over again? Are we going to have? What do you call it? A tournament at WrestleMania to decide a new world heavyweight champion. Are we going?
I have an answer, but I don't know if it's a popular answer. Heaven forbid they have to do something with the title. We do have Senior Money in the Bank.
Now, let me tell you about Mr. Damian Priest.
I do not see him cashing it in successfully at this moment in time.
I agree with that. I think if he cashes in, he's not going to win it. However,
if Seth is injured, then they need to write him off TV.
Now, my question for you is this. Seth is injured and they write him off TV. Do you just say, okay, well, you're just going to be a transitional champion until we get to WrestleMania, and CM Punk wins the Rumble, and inevitably he's just going to win it from you, and you're just going to have the championship belt to do stuff with Judgment Day for the time being. But as soon as WrestleMania comes around, you're not going to be champion for too long, so don't get used to it, Buckaroo.
I think so, but I think if I was Damian Priest and I'm looking into the future, like again, right now, we don't know anything about Seth Rollins being injured or they're vacating the title or what they're doing. But if I was Damian Priest right now and I'm looking into the future, I'm not cashing in on Seth Rollins and being successful. I'm not cashing in on CM Punk and being successful. There's no way in the world they're going to have me cash in on Roman Reigns and be successful. And they're not going to have me cash in on Cody Rhodes if he wins to be successful at cashing in. Those four options, I'm not winning the world title. It was ridiculed beyond belief when Austin Theory cashed in on Seth Rollins as United States champion. So do I want to do that again? No. But if I could cash in on an injured Seth, write him off TV, be a world champion, even if it's for a month, I'm still a world champion. I think I would prefer that.
Wow. I mean, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like Damian Priest, in my opinion, I definitely believe like and thankfully we have two titles now. If he's going to be a champion of any kind, I think he's going to be a world heavyweight champion before he's a WWE champion.
And if he's going to be a world champion,
yeah, if he's going to be a world champion, that's the champion that's the championship that they're going to go for. It's unfortunate because let's take Damian Priest at face value, man. He's a great athlete. He's a great superstar. He's done a lot. He works with a lot of great people. He keeps people safe. For example, Bad Bunny, like if I don't think Bad Bunny would have been as interested in WrestleMania, or even doing the things that he does if it was not for Damian Priest.
You're right. Well, that's a good point. I forgot about the tag match.
And they go back very far. They go back to when Damian Priest was in NXT, and probably before even Damian Priest was a wrestler. Like it could be further than that. So I don't know exactly like what their relationship is. Obviously, I'm not them. But I definitely think that he's done a lot for the company. He definitely deserves a championship around his waist that has some validity, because I'm sorry, the tag team tag team championships have not meant anything since Sammy and Kevin had them and won them from the Usos. And the Usos being the longest reigning WWE tag team champions of all time. That's just what it is.
they're just not being defended again. It's like, come on, Triple H.
And I
Get
get
rid of
it.
these dudes.
Like he's trying, I get it. And there's so many people that need to be on TV. Like right now, he's trying to restart a lot of people. He's trying to restart DIY. He's trying to start Indy Hartwell. He's trying to restart the women's tag team championship and bring that into life. He's working hard, and then the respect is there. It's just I'm just at the point where I'm like, yo, like, what are we doing here?
To backtrack a little bit, I think Seth Rollins has been an excellent world heavyweight champion. I think he was the best choice to win that title. But when Triple H first announced that championship, and correct me if I'm wrong, he said that this was going to be different than the Universal Championship.
Correct.
Different than Roman Reigns is doing. And when I think of different, Roman Reigns has been champion for 3 years. Rollins has been champion for what, 8 months already? 9 months?
Something like that. But at least he's defended it more.
At least he's defended it. But it's like, I don't feel like we wouldn't be in this conundrum of, is Damian Priest World Heavyweight Championship material if the title would have been changing hands a little bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If Shinsuke would have won during one of the 3 matches that he faced Seth Rollins, we would have had a brand new main event star, Shinsuke Nakamura. Boom.
Now, granted,
could have won it back.
I'm gonna caveat on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we talked about it kind of sort of last week. In your opinion, is it the title or is it the superstar that makes it?
I think it could be both. I think Seth is a great champion, and I think he's made the World Heavyweight Championship meaningful when we all thought it wouldn't be meaningful. But then you have somebody like Rhea Ripley, who I think is above her title. Rhea Ripley doesn't need the championship. She's bigger than that.
The reason why I asked that is because you had mentioned Shinsuke Nakamura being like a top superstar and whatnot, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. But my thing about it is, is everyone else going to see him as that? Because granted, yeah, you can win that championship and that's all fun and dandy. However, if you're a low level superstar and now you are winning this championship, does that necessarily bring credibility to the championship? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you are a level 1 rookie player and now you win this championship, does that diminish the title in any way, in your opinion?
I don't think so, because I think it's all about momentum.
Okay.
Shinsuke turned on Seth Rollins over the summer and was hot. That was the most compelling Shinsuke Nakamura I have seen since his NXT run, personally.
It's true. It's very true.
He turned heel against Seth Rollins and has done jack crap. So do I take Shinsuke as a heel seriously? No, because he loses all the time. But if he would have turned heel, maybe lost the first match against Seth Rollins, totally okay, but then would have kicked his ass in the last man standing or whatever and won the title, yeah, I think I would have believed it. And then this whole Cody Rhodes thing. We put him in a feud with Cody. No way in the world was he going to lose to Cody Rhodes. But again, it's all momentum. He turned heel for nothing. And has done nothing since turning heel. And I think that's the problem.
He's done nothing but lose.
Nothing but lose. So how do I take him credible? I wouldn't put the title on him now. But in July, I would have. August, I would have.
Yeah, no, you make a very great valid point, because he has not done a lot since he's turned heel at all. And that's very unfortunate, because he's definitely an incredible superstar that definitely deserves some type of frontline, whether it be storyline or championship or whatever have you. I think we all can agree that Shinsuke Nakamura needs a little bit more than what he's been given.
100%.
And it's just
like Drew's heel turn, I feel like has been presented well. I feel like his heel turn has been meaningful. But again, you look at Shinsuke. What has Shinsuke done? Yeah. And then you can look at face turns the same way, LA Knight.
Yeah.
What has he really done since turning? Yeah. What has he really done? since turning babyface.
I think
Nothing real.
I think the thing with LA Knight is they're just waiting on him now just to get to a certain point so they can give him a US championship. That's where I think LA Knight is
I
right
agree,
now.
but is the iron still hot? I feel like that's such a problem when it comes to.
I think it is, actually. I think it is. Just listen to the crowd reactions when he comes out. The crowd still loves him. And in my opinion, they use him a lot, but they don't use him enough to where he's oversaturated, where it's to the point where it's like, for me at least, to where the point where it goes, oh, it's LA Knight again. Like, nah, like for me, I still think that he's very hot. He's losing, but it's like we're still building to the point of getting there. Like, just think about not even too long ago, we were just at Money in the Bank, and when he was on top of that ladder with Logan Paul, that was our guy, red hot. Like, everyone in that stadium wanted him to win. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I definitely think that the iron, at least for me, I definitely think that the iron is still red hot for LA Knight. I don't think that he has dropped the iron or anything of that.
I agree with you. I do. Once you were explaining what you said, no, you're right. He's still hot. I give it to you. But I fear that if we don't strike soon,
I agree with that. Yeah, if they keep on lingering it out, if it goes past WrestleMania and this man doesn't have a not even top championship, if he doesn't have the United States Championship or Intercontinental Championship, or is in a high profiled storyline with someone, then I will go, yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct. Like, they missed it on this one. They missed it on this one, and I don't know why we're waiting so long for this guy to be their guy, because he's our guy now. So yeah, I agree with that.
Well, then if they're gonna strike when the iron's hot, R-Truth and the Miz need to become tag team champions tomorrow.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
I have never been more of a Miz fan than I am right now, and pairing him up with R-Truth, they need to win the tag titles tomorrow.
I don't know about. I mean, it would be great to see.
I'm so excited for that.
It would be amazing to see. I'm not going to lie. An R-Truth and Miz reunion as the tag team champions would no pun intended, would be awesome. It would be awesome. Yeah, I we'll see, man. We would definitely see if that's the role that they go. But for now, we wait till Rumble. We'll see what happens with Mr. Seth Rollins. We'll see if the good old undefeated champion known as Vacant decides to come back and grace us with his presence, his or her, or they, or whatever Vacant is. I definitely think that I hope that they don't give it to Vacant. If it's just, like I said, if it's just a tear, he does have a chance to come back and it be okay. But we shall see. We definitely shall see, because I obviously don't want him to be hurt. I don't want him to be outside of any issues with WWE and things of that nature. But we'll see. We'll have to see. But with that said, that is today's podcast, y'all. Thank you guys so much for listening. Take care of yourselves. We see you guys next time. Once again, I will be doing a live Royal Rumble. We will be giving you guys a Royal Rumble cards and predictions and stuff next week for the Rumble itself and whatnot. And I'm looking forward to doing all of that. Thank you guys for watching and listening with your Audible stuff. And can't wait to see you guys next week. Later.